So it's important to understand those differences, and that is what me and Nordpisa will like to point out to you, and then it will be good if you have that information when you talk to students to share that with them. Because we are, so let me just give you some introduction about the university. We'll talk about the programs that we're going to offer. We specifically will talk about the Foundation Studies program, because that's the one that we are really recruiting for now to start in September. We'll tell you more about our scholarships, which are very unique. We'll just give you an indication of our current students, and then we will show you some campus images, and then of course, once we are finished with the interview and you want to go and have a walk around and see some of the buildings and so on for yourself, then you are most welcome. This then is important to notice the vision and the mission of the university, and this is what makes this university, as I said, really specific. To become a model private international university characterized by high quality education, humanitarian values aimed at empowering disadvantaged students. Few things that I need to point out. It is going to be an international university. International university. That means that we recruit Malaysian and international students, and we recruit students from Muslim minority countries. Disadvantaged students from Muslim minority countries. That means that the students are not only Muslim students. They can be from any faith, but they will mostly come from Muslim minority countries. That includes the reason. That is the founder's wish. That is his specific wish, and I'll show you a slide later on where I will explain a little more what he had in mind. He really had an international university in mind. An international university that can have an international view on studies, not just a specific area, not a Malaysian view or an Eastern view or an Asian view on studies or on any topics, but actually an international view on studies. So in that sense, the students and the staff and faculty are international from all over the world. And therefore you have this international view on your studies.
And then you promote diversities.
Precisely. It promotes the diversity, and it gives you that international perspective. Whenever you study any topic, it is not just a topic from one view. It is this international view. And what Tan Sri also has in mind is that he wants to promote in the world that the north and the southern hemisphere and the eastern and the western part of the world gets closer to each other. So that's also why he looks at this as an international university. There are other universities that also claim to be international, but they claim to be international because they bring in also some foreign students. They might have a satellite campus in another country. There are a few reasons like that, but it's still not the international perspective that Tan Sri has for this university, of people from different parts of the world that work here as lecturers, students coming from different parts of the world. So people have different views on certain things. I mean, if you take any specific country, you take Malaysia, you take New Zealand, you take Australia. Australians look at the world in a certain way. Malaysians look at the world in a certain way. But the moment you put all these people together, and the students come from all over, they look at things in a very different, very different perspective. He's the one that created this university. He pays for this university, and it's his vision for this university. He himself, I don't know how much you know about him, but he is a very, very rich person in Malaysia, but he started from nowhere. He started as a very, very poor person. And when he got his first salary check and he brought that home, his mother said, "You are a very privileged person. You need to go and take this salary check and give it for charity." And that put him on the road, and then he made a promise to himself that one day when he is able to, he wants to set up an international university that will specifically serve underprivileged people. So that's why...
Regardless of religions and...
Precisely, irrespective of religion, irrespective of the nationality. Now we recruit 20 to 30% Malaysian students. So there are always a majority of Malaysian students here, 20 to 30%. So there are 70 to 80% international students. As I said, targeting Muslim minority countries. So that means we can go to Britain, America, France, you know, Eastern European countries, African countries. We also don't take more than, we are aiming at not having any intake more than 10 students from a particular country. At the moment, North Pisa is working with about 50 countries that she's recruiting students from. But we don't want, you know, too many students from a particular country, then there's not enough places for other countries. So that's why we look at more or less. When you talk to students and when you try and recruit students and advise students about the universities, when you come across underprivileged students, students that have the academic potential, but they might not have the means to go and study at the university. They will not get a bursary or a scholarship from any other university, or they can't go and get a bank loan or whatever. Those are the type of students we want you then to refer to us here with North Pisa to look at, because those are the students that we are looking at recruiting. Okay, and we are going to start the university most probably with the three schools. A school of ICT, a school of business, and a school of social sciences. The 3 deans for the 3 schools have already been appointed. Some lecturers are being appointed at the moment to develop all the programs for those. We also, the foundation program that we are going to start in September, we already have the head, we've already appointed all the lecturers. The program has already been approved by NQA. So we've done everything that needs to be done. The university has been registered for 5 years. Again, it's term registration. The university has been registered by the Ministry of Higher Education, and the qualification, the foundation program, has been approved by NQA.
So the foundation is based on 3 trimesters.
3 trimesters.
What about the degree program?
Also trimester.
Yeah,
we're going to do it a trimester system as well. You see, because once again, and this is again where this university is unique, we're not going to have, like many other universities, a very long summer session. We're going to try and shorten the time that the student needs to be here. You see, so therefore, with our trimesters, we're not, for instance, between years, we're also going to have a very short break. We're not going to have a 6-week or 8-week break between years, because then the students sit here, they don't have the money to go back to their countries. What do we do with it? So they also, as it is, if they come for the intensive English, they spend here 4.5 years from when they arrive here till when they can go home again. Some students, the Malaysian students, maybe Thailand students, some of the students that are close by, they could maybe have family members, brother or sister or somebody that buy them a ticket to come and back home. But students that live far from here, they don't have the money, they cannot go back. So we want to shorten the period of time that they need to be here as much as we can. And the shortest possible, if they start with intensive English, is 4.5 years. Now, for anybody to be 4.5 years away from their own country, their own culture, their own people, is difficult. But that's why we have this program, that it's almost a on-rolling program. From the intensive English, they go straight into foundation. Foundation straight into the first year. You know, first year, straight second year, third year. And then they finish and they go back to their countries. It's also very important that we want the students, when they're finished with their students, to go back to their countries and not necessarily stay in Malaysia and work in Malaysia. We want them to go back to their own countries, be productive in their countries, and go and do humanitarian work in their own countries.